I was gonna take out my camera, but I thought recording with my phone would be fine.
Why don't you give me your love? Give me your love.
The Lion King is a live-action adaptation to the 1994 Lion King film, and this movie is directed by Jon Favereau. The film tells the story of Simba, who is ready to become the king until the death of his father, and meanwhile he was being exiled until adulthood, and now he must come back to claim the throne to be the rightful king. Now I don't have to explain anything about the plot because you've already seen the classic, and now that the classics bring back to life as a live-action adaptation, you're probably getting the same thing, which is what I'm going to say about this film. Now, Disney live-action remakes has already become a culture for Disney. It has already become a trend for right now. Ever since Marvel and Star Wars has taken over the box office and gaining Disney success, and it feel like nobody care about the Disney classics anymore, the only solution is to actually remake them and bring them to live action. The pros is that live-action Disney films, we get to see them in live action, we see how they act in the real world. But in the cons, they're probably the same thing. You're seeing the same thing all over again with a few differences. And that's the issue with The Lion King. When I was watching this movie, I had a big question to myself. When I was in the middle of watching this, I asked myself, was this necessary? That's the big question for this movie, for every live-action film. So the big question of this film, which I want you to answer is, was The Lion King necessary? Was it necessary for Disney to make a live-action remake? And I want to hear thoughts in the comments below. To be honest, I have no problems with watching live-action. I mean, I'm fine with watching live-action, but The Lion King is different. It's an animated classic about animals. They're talking. And it's hard to imagine seeing that in real life. The pros about this film is that you have a new cast. You have a new cast who's able to fill in the voice. You have Lion King who's able to be in a live action adaptation. You're able to see the animals in the real world. You're able to see the characters and the villains and everyone. You also got the previous people back. You even get Hans Zimmer back as composer. You even get James Earl Jones back as Mufasa. Everything is accurate to the classic, which is also the cons. The accurate it is, it's very similar to the first film. This movie had a runtime of 2 hours minus 2 minutes, but this movie is similar to the first film with gap. They just added a few gaps, like for example there's a sequence where this dusted hair fur was being blown away, and that's it. They just added a gap to make the story logic. Some scenes that were not explained in the first film, in the classic, was then explained in the live action, which actually works. It actually makes the movie make sense. It makes it more understandable. I mean, they did a few changes with some of the scenes, which actually works. They had to change a few things, and that's it. 50% of this film is similar to the first film, to the classic. 50% of it is different, like the casting. And there's many to talk about it when it comes to the classic. The thing is, my big problem with this film is the similarities with the classic. It tries to be accurate. I mean, it's already accurate. It's already live action. But the film felt neutral with the animals, as it's not very similar to the characters that we have in the first film, in the classic film, but this time rather than they're actually using realistic animals, because it's considered live action. So that's why the animals had to be realistic. And the worst part is they did not share the same facial expression as like what they had in the first film, in the classic. And I was begging for more for that, but instead we don't. When I was watching this film, I listened to this film with the same lines they had in the first film, in the classic, while looking at animals just moving each other with no expression whatsoever. Their mouth is just moving less while they're saying the same line. So like, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know what's wrong with this movie. Now the animals, yes, the characters. Donald Glover playing as Simba, I thought he was as similar. He was so close to being Matthew Broderick. He was very close enough. So I'm glad he's not being himself as Donald Glover. Now Chiwetel Ejiofor playing as Scar. Now you look at Scar over here. Scar is nothing like in the first film, in the classic, because he tried to be live action and he's menacing in the classic. But in this one, he's just a regular lion. So that's the issue with every lines. But Chiwetel Ejiofor as the villain, he actually works. He did a great job portraying his role as that. Pumbaa and Timon, I thought the great characters. I mean, Seth Rogen playing as Pumbaa, I thought he was perfect for the casting choice. But seeing the animals itself, I wish there could have been more with this. I mean, overall, they're live action, they're realistic, but they're still funny in the film. They're still the funniest part of the film, and I appreciate that. The hyenas are kind of dark in this film. I was expecting hyenas to be more darker, and it's hard for me to figure out which one is Keegan-Michael Key playing in this film. However, the hyenas are actually dark, and although it's not as dark as I expected, but it actually works. It's already scary enough for the children to watch it, because this one's targeted for children, and also us. And seeing the final act of the film with the hyenas, it was supposed to be dark as I wanted, but it actually worked. it's already dark enough. So it doesn't have to be very dark with the ending, which you already know what the ending's gonna happen. Overall, I'm a little bit disappointed watching The Lion King. I am out of energy. I am out of words. I am as silent as any animal ever watching The Lion King. Because to me, I was expecting. I really wish that The Lion King would have been more similar to the animation, like such as the facial hair. You also got the emotions that's added in the film. Instead, it's more of a live action. Instead, this film is more live action, and it's more natural and it's more realistic with animals. That the movie itself doesn't work as live action. Like, the animals would have been more expressive, but instead it's realistic, so it couldn't be expressive, and it's hard to imagine what's it like to see these animals as being as realistic as possible. But sometimes it worked. I'm gonna say The Lion King is a neutral live action adaptation that doesn't embrace the classic. I'm not saying that I hate the film. I mean, I'm okay with watching this, but I wish there could have been more with the live action. I'm really out of words, as mentioned. Yes, I'm really out of energy, and The Lion King, I mean, I know there's going to be people walking this movie to enjoy this film, but for me, it's not as good as classic. I like the classic better than the live action. It's just that The Lion King is live action. I don't think that really had to exist. But yeah, that was my thoughts on The Lion King live action. Have you seen it? What you think of the movie? Let me know in the comments below. Tell me what you think about the big question that I come up with. If you think Disney live action remakes are necessary or not, let me know about your thoughts. But yeah, that was my review on The Lion King. Here's the outro. That is all for this video. If you do enjoy this video, give it a like. That would be very helpful. And in the description, you'll find two links so you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Google+. I appreciate you guys for watching this, and I'll see you another time. Bye-bye.